Chapter 33, in which a former Beatle is implicated in the 1997 Asian financial crisis. We finally caught a break. The room they detained us in was on the French side of passport control. Had it not been, we'd have stood in line over an hour waiting to have our passports stamped, only to have the border police arrest us again once they realized who we were. Instead, all we had to do was grab our bags and leave the airport, which we did in various degrees of nonchalantness. I never thought walking casually was hard until I actually tried to walk casually. Suddenly, I was hyper-aware of my extremities. My arms swung too much, then not enough. My gait stretched abnormally long. Then I overcompensated and began shuffling my feet. I had no idea what to do with my hands, so I stuck them in my back pockets for some reason. And to keep my head from swiveling like a Disneyland teacup, I stiffened my neck in a most unnatural way. In an effort to make sure no one noticed me, I became the only thing they noticed. Garland was better at it. He was cool even. He said, "Son, when running isn't an option, you gotta pick a topic and try to have a normal conversation." So I tried. "Your aunt's just mad at you, right?" I asked Parker. "She's not really turning you over to the state." "Son, how about another topic?" Garland said. And when I glanced over at Parker, she looked equal parts furious and terrified. So I mumbled an apology to no one in particular. Garland took over and said, "Okay, son, pick a story. Would you rather hear about how I should have won the 1976 Ugandan Open? How Paul McCartney and I caused the Malaysian stock market to crash in 1997? Or how I survived Elena Ceausescu's real-life version of the Hunger Games in communist Romania?" "I don't know. Whichever one really happened." "They all really happened, son. You think I could make this shit up?" "Okay, the first one then." "They had me stationed in Kampala, living in a little one-bedroom house across the street from the country club. I played 6 or 7 times a week back then and was leading the tournament after 3 rounds. But Amin's people picked me up that night and took me to one of his palaces. And over dinner he told me it would be detrimental to national morale if a Mzungu won their national championship." "A Mzungu?" I asked, as my arms slowed down and my legs sped up, and my head began to bob naturally enough to blend in with the river of Parisians and tourists and business people flowing through Charles de Gaulle. "That's the Swahili word for white person," Garland said. "Anyway, I dumped a couple of balls in the lake on the back 9 and finished a distant 3rd. "Didn't Idi Amin eat people?" I asked. "Never in front of me," Garland said. We walked into the arrivals hall, and Garland said, "Help me think of a way to get out of here. If we can get into Paris, we can disappear, but we've got to get there, and we don't have much time." Getting out of an unlocked room was easy, but making it out of the airport apparently wouldn't be, even if Martin Blair had left the door unlocked and given us a 15-minute head start, which I still doubted was his intention. "What about the rental car?" I asked. "Haven't you already reserved it?" "Yeah, I reserved it in my own damn name," Garland said. "Besides, those rent-a-car places are slow as hell. Think of something else." "Could we walk there?" "It's 15 miles from here, son, and I can walk about 100 yards before I have to sit and catch my damn breath." "Sorry," I said, looking around the arrivals hall and racking my brain for a way out. "What about the train?" There were signs everywhere pointing toward the RER-B train to central Paris. "They've got guards and cameras on those," Garland said. "If they didn't arrest us on the train, they'd get us the moment we stepped off." "A taxi? Uber?" "No, They'll radio our descriptions to every driver in the city. We'd be sitting ducks. I don't know, I said. I think we're stuck. No, Parker said, speaking for the first time since we'd stepped off the plane. I'm not going back in that room, and I'm not getting back on a plane, and I'm not going back to Alabama, so you'd better. There, I said, pointing toward a group of men wearing black suits and black ties, holding signs with last names on them. Garland laughed. Son, you're a genius. Do you think it will work? I asked. No, the old man said, but it's our only chance. Come on. The three of us stood off to the side and tried to read the names on the driver's signs without being obvious about it. Look for one on hotel letterhead, Garland whispered. We don't want 'em dropping us off at a damn business meeting. There, third guy on the left, Parker said. Mr. Dufresne, Four Seasons Hotel, George V. Garland chuckled and said, The Four Seasons. Miss Parker, you do have expensive taste. And without hesitating, he walked up to the man and said, Let's go, Jeeves. Mr. Dufresne? The driver asked. No, I'm Napoleon Bonaparte. Of course I'm Mr. Dufresne, and these are my grandchildren, and we're in a hurry, so let's go, son. The driver gave us a quick glance before picking up Garland's suitcase and saying, Follow me, monsieur. 5 minutes later, we were on the motorway, driving through the morning rain toward Paris.